US is about to jail Tinubu right now. Among these two things, one must surely happen. It's either they jail Tinubu or they divide Nigeria and let Biafra go. This 2026 go dey very, very hot for Nigeria. From news reaching to us right now, US don't send message to Nigeria, and again another letter. They don't sanction all the whole people will be say they go against the division of Nigeria. And I'm not gonna just talk much. I go just allow one and watch this video. This video explain a whole lot of things. Don't expose all the things we be say US don't they really plan about this division of Nigeria. So I'm not gonna talk much. Watch this video from the start to the end. And the end side is the most important place we be say you need to pay attention and write freedom for Nnamdi Kanu. The time for Biafra has come. So these two things, one must surely happen. It's either they allow Tinubu to divide this country, make Biafra go, or the jail Tinubu. That's one thing US don't assure everybody right now. Pay attention, watch this video from the starting to the end, and don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Right freedom for Nnamdi Kanu and freedom for the people of Biafra.
According to news, the United Nations has ordered the Nigerian government to release Nnamdi Kanu. But unfortunately, they have refused to release him. And because of this, a group in the Pan-African Forum has moved to sue the Nigerian government in UK court over that refusal. As we can see from this news, it says, Tinubu-led Nigerian government set to face court action in UK over defiance of UN order imprisonment of Nnamdi Kanu. So you see that this group in the Pan-African Forum has moved to UK to sue the Nigerian government. Of course, you can see that this news was published on the 14th day of April 2026. Now, let's go down to this news and see why exactly they are suing the Nigerian government. Please, I beg you to stay with me. Now, if you go down to this news, it says, let me zoom it so you can see it. A group of international legal experts under the banner of Pan-African Forum Limited and Associates has issued a pre-litigation notice to President Bola Tinubu, threatening to drag the Nigerian government to court in London, United Kingdom, over the imprisonment of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. So you see, this group has threatened the Nigerian government that they are going to sue them in two courts, one in London and the other one in United Kingdom. All right. So they went further to say, in the notice dated April 14, 2026, the lawyers warned that they would pursue legal enforcement procedures abroad if the Nigerian government fails to comply with a United Nations directive ordering Kanu's release and compensation. So, according to them, that United Nations has actually ordered for Nnamdi Kanu's release, and not just his release, is what? His compensation too. Now, going further, it went on to say, we write as voluntarily legal experts in international law, having voluntarily assumed the conduct of this matter, and thereby give formal notice of our intention to pursue all available legal avenues, including procedures in the London courts, to enforce compliance with binding United Nations directives, the notice read. So they have said, according to them, that they are voluntarily legal experts. Voluntarily, nobody paid them. This one is not that IPOB paid them or anybody. They said that they are voluntarily legal experts. Okay? So they have issued this warning to the Nigerian government. He went further to say, the legal team record that the UN body, through its working group on arbitrary detention, had issued an opinion in July 2022 directing the Nigerian government to immediately release Kanu and provide him with an enforceable pathway to compensation for his unlawful and extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021. So according to them, that the UN body, a UN group, has given that, directive that Kanu should be released. And this happened in July 2022. So since 2022, the Nigerian government has refused to, acknowledge that opinion of the UN group. So they are saying that, come on, they are going to take it legally now. And Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021. And the UN group gave that directive that he should be released in July 2022, barely 1 year later. But unfortunately, till today, this is going to 6 years. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of course, was in detention for 5 years, and just for about 5 months now, he has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Now, going further, it says, quoting from the 17-page option, the lawyer stated the working group considered that, taking into account all the circumstances of the case, the appropriate remedy would be for the government of Nigeria to release Mr. Kanu immediately and accord him an enforceable right of compensation and other reparations, all right, in accordance with international law. Okay, they went further to say the lawyers maintained that the working group, described as a quasi-judicial body mandated to determine human rights compliance against states, issues decisions that are binding on all UN member states, including Nigeria. So they are just reminding Nigeria that they are a member of UN state, and so they must obey the laws of UN. Okay? They further argued that Nigerians' obligations are reinforced by its ratifications of key international instruments, such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, both of which impose enforceable legal duties on the states. So that is how and what is happening. Of course, this news went further to say some other things, but I'm going to stop it here. So it's just unfortunate that we are seeing this on daily basis, even within Nigeria. You know, most of us have seen that the Nigerian government seems not to be, obeying court orders. In Nigeria, the court will say, set this person free. The government will say no, or government will do what they wish. It's not only in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in some other cases, even political issues we are having in Nigeria, most of them are the issue of court order and not court order. You get? So it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And that is one of the things that kill a nation so quick. Not obeying court orders. If you don't obey your court order, what else do you want to obey? That means we are not even running a democratic, country. Maybe an autographic, a government we are running. Please, I want to beg you now to listen to one of the, Pan-African leaders where he took time to talk about this, because this is really, really getting serious. So please listen to him, and then you do well to drop your comment in the comment section what to think. If this is your first time coming across my video on my channel, please do well to subscribe, because I have so many updates I want to share with you, all right? Please listen to this leader.
Thank you very much for continuing the support on this platform, where I raise pertinent issues on African affairs. I have been very, very consistent on the question of a country or countries adhering to the court orders that are issued by international courts or are issued by local courts, because that's the only way to build our institutions that need to be firm in order for a better Africa. I will address you on the question of a country called Nigeria. I have no personal feelings against anyone in Nigeria except those who break the law. Sometime in 2021, under the administration of President Buhari, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu was abducted at night, renditioned out of African country without the knowledge of that African country, without the authorities knowing, against all international obligations, taken out of Kenya, removed, manhandled, beaten, molested, and delivered in commando style, Gestapo style, into Abuja. The government where he was abducted from did not know until they had reports. However, most of us sprang to action later on. We have gone to African courts of peoples and human rights to put our cases, to put the case of Nnamdi Kanu. He was charged, trumped up charges of terrorism and other things that were heaped, where evidence was corrupted, because some of the people who handled the evidence, as you know, Nigeria at the moment is a mixture, a cocktail of terrorists, some of them who have repentant terrorists who have joined the government, working as intelligence officers. From 2021, a court in Kenya issued a judgment calling for the return of this gentleman from Abuja back to Nairobi. The government of President Buhari, as you know, came to an end. He handed over power to Tinubu, and Buhari later on died. The baton of handing over and implementing this order remains up to today in terms of international law in the hands of President Tinubu. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu should have not gone under any judgment or under court process anywhere, because the procedure of him being delivered there was wrong. You all know what the judge in Nigeria mentioned. A useless judge. I think God only is the one who can determine his destiny, not me. Things went, we have gone, and the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu, plus many other people, most of us have not kept quiet. We have petitioned the British government. We have asked the government of Britain to intervene, because Mr. Nnamdi Kanu was a British national at the time of his arrest or rendition from the third country to another one of the Commonwealth. We have written to the Commonwealth. We have written to every angle. We wrote, we filed, the lawyers filed a case in the United Nations Court of Arbitrary Arrest against arbitrary arrest. The judgment was entered, and the government of Nigeria was told by that opinion, which is well grounded in law of international law and aspect of the performance of any nation that is under United Nations Charter, to implement. The government of Nigeria to date, as we speak, by the time we went yesterday to courts or to notify them, have not answered back, they went ahead, convicted Mr. Nnamdi Kanu to life in prison. It is the same thing they did to the 10 naira. They worked with Paul Biya, got this gentleman. You can see it is the same nation. Cross-border incursions onto an ICC organization where refugees have gone. A crime committed by Nigeria again, which the chief prosecutor of International Criminal Court should have reported Nigeria to the International Criminal Security Council for having allowed its territory to be used by people who came to abduct refugees under the Geneva Convention. He didn't do that. Now, Nigeria, the judgment came out, the opinion was very clear, release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, return him, make reparations for him, and make it good so that he returns, he can face justice. But this was not the proper way to abduct a person at night, take him, fix him, release him. The Nigerian court refused. Nigerian court also ordered that this should not be the same. One court ordered, they took him to another court, they removed him to another court, they took him back to the other court until it became very toxic. In a nutshell, the opinion of the United Nations Court of Arbitrary Arrest is very clear. It needs enforcement. And the people have not been able to take these steps that I have taken yesterday. And yesterday I've been searching for what the court would ask me, what do you want to be done? I have researched, got all the documents regarding the Nigerian embassy, the properties that they have in the United Kingdom, so that when it comes to reinforcement or enforcement through any other means, we shall get those properties. So I've been doing that homework voluntarily until now. We got yesterday, on behalf of Pan-African Forum and associates, many of us who studied international law, experts of us who are very fluent. We do it for the sake of Africa. We do it for Borobono. We use our resources. We have not asked anyone to give us a penny. We have done it, and I've done it myself. Because this young man needs help. And we shall get that help through the courts. We have filed the final notes, the final nets before litigation. We have served the Nigerian government yesterday, and they have received it in the Ministry of Justice, and the government of Britain also copied, and other courts. Therefore, next move we shall move is litigation of why the order was not implemented. Why the orders of the court were not implemented. Why is it 2 orders? You remember the Kenyan court is still waiting. They gave even the damages for a man who had been just harassed. They didn't know that somebody had used their territory to do some dubious mafia work, which Mr. Leti Buhari, may his soul go completely away from earth, and no history should be written for him ever on earth, because he overthrew the government. The first one pretended to be a Democrat. He even abducted Umar Diko. We know this. Some people in Africa don't know this history. This man abducted Umar Diko in London. All of us went there when we were in London. We went and saw a plane. Everybody on TV was shocked. And Buhari. These people from that country, Nigeria, abduct people. They kill people. They abduct if they find you. So any country in the world dealing with Nigeria, using Nigerian intelligence to say you are putting a case like this case of Finland man, a government in Finland. Which intelligence are you using, you Finland? This fake one, the one where they get AI videos and place them here. No competent court in Europe. And I'm waiting for that case of Simon Epa. I want to earn international fame for defeating them on that case in the European Court of Human Rights. I'm waiting for you. I'll not leave. I don't tell me don't do this, don't do for this. I am not. You don't employ me. I make my decision to defend the people. I defend the people for their rights. You cannot lock up a man when you have used wrong intelligence of Nigerian government, where government has got terrorists inside. Where did they get this evidence? Corrupted. Now they are planting things because the appeal is coming. We are ready for you. We have been ready. The other time it was the people from Europe who present, but this time we are many. Many of us voluntarily, we shall pour in that courts. In all courts, we are going to pour in courts. Mr. Tinubu, listen, adhere to the court orders, release this guy. Whichever format you use, whether you pardon him, whether you release him, it's up to you. But me, we have now got all the data of your properties in London. We are going to get it. Watch my leaves. Let me remove the glasses. We shall get it. The law here is very clear. Ask Paul Biya whether he can come to have medicine in London. Give Paul Biya 2 planes to fly in. And even you're coming to London recently, we had to waiver. We had to be asked to waiver for you not to be touched. Otherwise, our summons were ready. So do the right thing. You have gone to school. You are not like Buhari. You have gone to school. You are not a soldier. Release this guy. Let's not get bad name in the Commonwealth, bad name everywhere, bad name Nigeria. There is this woman called, there's a woman in the UN called Dr. Amina Mohammed. You, that lady there, you live in the UN, the same institution you preside over. You don't, someone has refused to adhere to the UN court. And then you say you are from Nigeria. I'm Assistant Secretary General, my foot. You are one of the most, in fact, your data, when I start throwing it around, you will not like it. Because I am very pissed off with some of the people from this country, especially those who get leadership. They don't speak for their people. Another one in Britain that I'm conservative. She's not speaking for her own people. We have to speak for you. Another one in the WTO, she doesn't speak for her people. You also in UN, you don't. I am coming for you people. You have to be extremely patriotic. Speak for your country. This is a good country with a population. Christians are being killed. They are being killed for real. People, moderate Muslims are being wiped out. In all these places. Are we waiting for for what to happen in order to intervene. Thank you very much. For us, we have done our job. We are not fighting anybody. We are not against. We don't know what they do. We don't have guns. We are not affiliated to anybody. We don't like violence. So anybody trying to fight, we are fighting the government of Nigeria using the brains, not violence, not guns. So we shall use the legal means available to speak out for those who cannot speak, the voiceless. Thank you very much. On behalf of Pan-African Forum and Associates, we will meet you. If you don't reply, if you don't do something about it, you know there's something happening about it. Thank you. God bless you. Watch and distribute this clip to reach Mr. Tinubu. I have no problem with you. Nothing. But I have a problem with you failing to adhere to court orders. Please, this was not your problem, Mr. Tinubu. This was Mr. Buhari's problem. Wash hands like a Pontius Pilate. Wash the hands. I find no case with Jesus. But if it is the Roman law, take him. I have nothing. I think whatever Pontius Pilate is near the God's right hand side.
See the battle against us and the battle against our Judeo-Christian tradition basically being waged around the globe. And it's waged primarily by two forces, radical Shiite Islam and radical Sunni Islam. That means the axis that is led by Iran, much battered, admittedly, but still there, and the axis, the Sunni axis, led by the Muslim Brotherhood, which permeates everything. They go to Europe, they go to the United States, they go to Africa, Nigeria. And we are conscious of the fact that Christians are being persecuted across the Middle East, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Nigeria, in Turkey, and beyond. And we're also aware of the fact, as you are, that one country protects the Christian community, enables it to grow, defends it, and makes sure that it thrives. And that country is Israel. There is no other. None. We are joining an effort to have basically a United Nations of countries that support Christian communities around the world, beleaguered communities who deserve our help. Just as you are helping us, we want to help back. And we're capable of doing that. In Africa with intel, in the Middle East with a lot of means that I won't itemize each one. But this is what our agenda is. It's the main part of our agenda. And it's going to continue with greater force and greater might in this coming
47 years. Iran has had a policy of death to Israel, death to America. Its entire apparatus, its state structure has been sponsoring terrorism, sponsoring organizations around the world to kill Israelis, to kill Jews, to spread terror. And we've seen Iran spreading terror. We've seen them developing a ballistic missile program, and we've seen them develop a nuclear program. And when a country says that they want to destroy you, death to Israel, death to America, and they are trying to build a nuclear weapon, it's absolutely justified. Not only is it justified, it's a moral obligation for a country to take the action that is needed to stop the country, in this case Iran, who wants to destroy Israel. Iran has said they want to destroy Israel, and Iran is building a nuclear weapon to do that. Cannot allow that to happen. And so this is the most justified war in order to stop these people from developing a weapon in order for them to wipe us off the face of the earth.
You sidestepped my question, Ambassador. I asked you pointedly. Israel has a nuclear weapon. Iran is trying to build one. Is it justified to take away Iran's ability to build a nuclear weapon when Israel has one? If we want truly a nuclear-free world, why can't all of us just drop our nuclear weapons like South Africa stopped their own nuclear weapons program? So you have the nuclear weapon. You don't want Iran to have it. Is it justified what you're doing?
Well, firstly, Israel has never said that we have nuclear weapons. That's your statement. Israel's policy has always been that we won't be the first country to introduce nuclear weapons into the region. But the issue here is not about Israel. The issue here is about Iran. Iran is the only country in the world, in the United Nations, who expressly desires to wipe another country off the face of the earth. Iran has stated its very policy is to destroy Israel, is to wipe Israel off off the map is to make sure they kill every single person. And no regime, no country that has an expressed desire to destroy Israel, and it's not only an expressed desire, we've seen over 47 years they've taken all the actions they can in order for that to happen. We've seen them sponsor terror organizations. They were behind October the 7th massacre of Hamas. We've seen them sponsoring Hezbollah. We've seen them acting in Europe. We've seen them acting in Australia. We've seen them acting in Nigeria. We've seen these people acting all across the world in order to spread disturbance, for them to try and carry out and their aim of destroying Israel. And Israel will not allow another country to have nuclear weapons when they've expressly stated they want those weapons to destroy Israel.
But Israel is not a saint to themselves, because for all the terror you say Iran has carried out, Israel has also carried out that level of terror. And by one stretch, you've gone ahead to kill the supreme leader in Iran. So Israel too is not a saint in all of this.
Okay.
I yield the floor to you.
That's an absurd statement to make. Nigeria is the one. Nigeria has been on the receiving end of terrorism from Iran. We've seen Iran spreading terror throughout the world. Iran sponsors all of the major terror organizations in the world. If we look at Hamas, if we look at Hezbollah, if we look at the Houthis, if we look at the terror groups within Iraq, if we look at some of the other groups around the world, we have seen Iran carry out terror bombings in Argentina, where it blew up the Jewish community there. We've seen them carry out terror attacks in Bulgaria. We've seen them carry out terror attacks in the UK. We've seen them carry out attempted attacks in Australia. This is a country that sponsors terror, that is Revolutionary Guard is a prescribed terror group across all of Europe and many other countries around the world. It's quite clear that Iran is a nation, is an international sponsor of terror, and to make any other accusation or any other claim is absurd. And I would also add as one sentence, which we kind of forget, that less than 2 months ago, there were millions of people protesting against the Iranian regime, Iranians, who said, we're not happy with what's going on in the country. And the Iranian regime's response was to gun them down and to massacre them. And anywhere between 30 and 70,000 Iranians were shot dead for purely saying that they weren't happy with their government.
Right.
And this is an illegitimate government.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Now, America has stated, well, the president has talked about the aim or what success would look like in this war to bring it to an end. A regime change is top of that agenda. What is Israel looking at from this war? I say this because back to the question around justification, there was no imminent threat or indication of an imminent attack on Israel by Iran. Number two is that there are critics that have said that you don't respond to, potential war with force. You respond with an attack with an attack. What would you have to say about that? Because even within, your country, a number of people have stated that perhaps it wasn't justified. Yes, you talked about threats being made here and there, but nothing, no imminent action or no imminent strike was done by Iran. So Israel made the first move. Is it justified? That's the big question on a number of people's lips.
Well, Israel absolutely did not make the first move. Iran has been making moves for 47 years. For 47 years, they've been sponsoring terrorism. They've been attacking Israel. They have been blowing up Jewish community centers. They've been blowing up embassies. They have been firing missiles. They've been sponsoring terror organizations. They have been attacking people in Bulgaria, in Australia, in the UK. So Iran has been running a campaign of terror and attempting to destroy Israel for 47 years. And their slogan is death to Israel, death to America. When you talked about an imminent threat, well, since the 12-day war last year, Iran has gone all in on trying to move all of its ballistic missile capacity underground. It has invested in restarting its nuclear program and moving that deep underground. And within a few weeks or months, that program would have been so deep underground that it would have been totally immune from any form of strike or any form of attack.
Ambassador, I will not expect you to come here to accept that Israel has nuclear weapons without giving you the fact, but it's for you to deflect. Also, you were talking about Israel being a saint in all of this. I mean, we can go back historically, and I can tell you about the King David Hotel bombings, Argon and Shargon, and all the other atrocities. Even Gaza here, that Israel first denied the number of people killed in Gaza. Finally, they accepted the number. At first, they first said the numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry was wrong. Finally, they came around, even what they're doing in the West Bank and all of that. And a lot of crimes, you know. The Israeli army is being investigated for a lot of crimes. And we all know that. So if you think Israel is a saint, I mean, it's you're the ambassador.
Hold on a minute.
Let me finish.
Well,
Do not interrupt me, ambassador. Let me finish. All right. So you can go ahead and claim all of that. But the interesting part is also the hypocrisy I see. Only last year, when you had a 12-day war, you said, I mean, the words of Donald Trump, Israel allies, they had obliterated the nuclear program in Iran. So if the claim then is that it's been obliterated, the question is, why are you still saying they will build nuclear weapon? Is it that the obliteration was not obliterated enough, or you want to re-obliterate the obliteration? That's part of the hypocrisy. Please answer that, Ambassador.
Well, before I go on to the second part, I mean, really, some of the statements that you made in the beginning were outrageous and were absolutely based on no fact. To make some of these claims, for example, Israel still disputes the number of people that the Gaza Health Ministry, or in other words, Hamas, claim about Gaza. We absolutely do not accept those figures. I know there were reports in the paper that we did. That's just not true. And I can state that categorically now. And again, in that very complex war that the context of is, of course, that Hamas, sponsored by Iran, came across the border with thousands of terrorists, murdered, raped, tortured, and kidnapped thousands of Israelis. They murdered thousands of Israelis and kidnapped over 250 men, women, children, and babies, innocent civilians. That was the response that Israel responded to that like any other country to defend ourselves. And in the course of a war is horrible, war is terrible. There were numbers of people killed within Gaza. I'm quite sure that there were civilians that were killed as well. And the death of any civilian is a tragedy. It doesn't matter which side those civilians were on. But we believe that the vast significant numbers within those were terrorists that were killed. And when we compare this to Mosul, or we compare this to Afghanistan, or we compare this to other combat that took place within built-up areas, you will find that Israel acted with more restraint and was the ratio between combatant terrorists and civilian deaths was the lowest that there's ever been. But that's a different conversation that we're not having. Your question was about the 12-day war. And you're right, in the 12-day war, Israel and America destroyed and set back, rather, Iran's nuclear program. But over the last less than a year, the Iranian leadership, when Iran has no water, the people in Tehran haven't got water. They are dealing with one of the worst economic crises they've ever had. The Iranian leadership decided they were going to invest $1 billion, $1 billion with a B, into building a new nuclear program and investing in restarting and rebuilding their nuclear program by digging deeper under the ground, by looking to enrich uranium even further, by developing their missile program and their ballistic missile program. And in all of the negotiations with the Americans, the Iranians made very clear they were not prepared at any point to give up nuclear enrichment. They were not prepared to give up their ballistic missile program, and they were not prepared to stop sponsoring terror organizations throughout the region and throughout the world. And if you're in negotiations and one side says, well, I'm not prepared to even enter the conversation with you, then the negotiations end. And that's what happened. There was an attempt to negotiate with Iran. Iran refused to negotiate. They invested $1 billion into rebuilding their nuclear program. And so we've taken this action. If since June, the June war that you spoke about, sorry, the 12-day war that you spoke about, if Iran would have instead invested that $1 billion into its people, into its water structure, into the benefit of its civilians, rather than investing it in a nuclear program, rather than investing it in terrorists, rather than investing it in missiles, then we wouldn't be in this position that we're in today. But Iran chose over the last number of months to invest in destroying Israel and not invest in trying to help its own people.
I'm glad you end on the note of helping people. Let's talk about humanitarian casualty of this war. I'd like your statement on the school children, about 150 of them who were killed, the displaced people, escalating into a regional war, and the Gulf states that have been attacked by Iran based on the first attack by Israel and America. Your statement on these matters and concerns around violating the UN Convention on how wars should be run and at risk of committing war crimes.
Israel, and obviously I speak on behalf of Israel, follows the laws of war. We do everything that we can in order to minimize human casualties, innocent civilian casualties. We have sent warnings to areas. We have asked people to clear areas, even in Iran, to make sure that civilian casualties are limited. And we are carrying out pinpoint, incredibly accurate strikes in order to target the ballistic missile program, the nuclear program, and to target the regime in Iran. And that is what we're doing. And we will do everything we can to avoid any form of innocent civilian casualties. Iran, on the other hand, and I think that this is very important, Iran is carrying out everything it can to target civilians. Iran is attacking Israeli centers, population centers in Tel Aviv, in Bet Shemesh. We saw it killed children. Their missiles have killed children, have killed elderly, have killed carers, have killed people from all over. They are attacking hotels. They are attacking energy centers around airports around the region. So it is Iran that is clearly carrying out war crimes, Iran that is doing everything it can to maximize civilian casualties, whereas Israel is doing everything to minimize civilian casualties. And I think we should look at the Iranian people and we should look at the Iranian diaspora that are very clearly saying they welcome this action, they are saying they want this action, and that it is about time that somebody stood up to the brutal regime in Iran that is not only spreading terrorism across the region, including, by the way, in Africa and in Nigeria, but Iran is also not only spreading terror, Iran is also suppressing its own people, and the Iranian people, are the ones who are standing up and saying, we want this, we want someone to take action against this regime. And that's what both Israel and America are doing.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ambassador. Now, earlier in this interview, you had alluded to sort of the impact that Iran has had on the African continent and specifically on Nigeria. The axis of resistance is very well documented, which is Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas. I'd love for you to give us, some of the insight that you have with regards to Iranian influence in Nigerian terrorism, and subsequently, of course, we know that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had spoken about our insecurity challenges here. So is Israel also looking to join the effort that is being made by the United States with regards to joining the fight against terrorism in Nigeria?
Well, those are two very different
yes, they are.
but I'll answer both of them. But on the first one regarding Iranian involvement in Nigeria, I think that is well documented. We know that there are certain movements. For example, the Islamic movement of Nigeria is sponsored and is backed by the Iranian regime. This is not me saying this. We've seen that documented by the Iranian regime. Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader, posted on X his support and his backing and on there. So that's very open. And there are other areas as well that Iran is working for destabilizing not only Nigeria, but all of West Africa. Apart from that, on your second question, Nigeria and Israel are strong allies, are strong friends. We work together on many areas. And as Prime Minister Netanyahu said, we are willing and we are eager to partner with Nigeria according to Nigeria's needs and according to Nigeria's desires in order to help tackle instability within Nigeria, again, according to Nigerian needs and Nigerian desires and wishes.
For wetin una don hear, wetin una think, make una drop an opinion at the comment section. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.